In this video, I'm going to share with you how our students, my proteges, are producing income in commercial estate investing all over the country. Nearly all of them have zero commercial experience to begin with. It doesn't matter if you're in a hot market, not so hot market, or even how much money you have. It comes down to these three things. Number one is knowing what to do in the business of commercial real estate. Number two, knowing when to do it. Timing is really important. And number three, plus getting a little help and hand-holding from us. This is done in our Protege program, our mentoring program. These three things give you results in the business of commercial real estate investing. Hi everyone out there, I'm Peter Harris with Commercial Property Advisors. I am author of this book, Commercial Real Estate Investing for Dummies. I'm also author of my new bestseller, Commercial Real Estate for Beginners. Now, I can also proudly say that we are now the #1 rated YouTube channel on commercial real estate investing, most popular, most watched ever. Check it out. We also have a very popular and very effective commercial real estate investing mentoring program, our Protege program, where I personally do all the coaching, 100% of it. Now, with that said, I cannot coach hundreds of people at a time, so the selection process is very stringent. Now, for whatever reason, if the timing for you to get in the program is not good, perhaps it's financing, or whatever reason, we have come up with a pre-Protege program that allows you to get into the business of commercial real estate, producing income, getting results from these three things, and also allowing you, maybe it's a way to bridge yourself, to bridge the gap to getting into our Protege program where students are closing deals around the country on a regular basis. Are you interested? Let me show you how. I have a passion to help and serve people. My calling is to take someone who normally wouldn't be able to purchase commercial property and actually buy a commercial property. It is so fulfilling and such a blessing to me when I can coach and mentor someone from nothing to buying their first commercial property. Many of our students start off with just a dream and a few dollars. I'm going to show you back here on the board a recent list of people that we mentored. Not to brag to you, but show you that this is also possible for you. All right? An engineer, a recently retired person, a single mom, one of my favorite cases, a post office worker, a doctor, an airline pilot, an airline mechanic, office worker, government contractor, salesperson. So you can see an everyday person from all walks of life, real estate agent, mortgage professional, property managers, an X-ray or MRI technician, web designer, pharmacist, financial advisors, CEO, directors and VPs, healthcare executives, IT professionals, a general contractor, truck driver, plumber, network marketer, police officer, insurance professionals, and dentists, plus much more. Again, just to share with you that these are people that we mentor people from all walks of life, and it can be also possible for you. Now, let me share with you now a little bit about our background so you can see why we're so effective. Years ago, I worked as an engineer. Some of you may already know my background. Basically, I worked as an engineer in Silicon Valley for a great person by the name of Nick. He was my boss and my mentor. He was a great teacher, great husband and father, just all-around great person who built a company from nothing to millions of dollars in sales in just a few short years. Over the years, through hard work, I became his right-hand person. And my goal, my career goal, was to become just like him and to be a director of technology in the company and running what he was running, further down the road when he decided to retire. Well, one day that all changed in just one day. Basically, Nick was laid off without him even knowing he was laid off. Brutal, right? Brutal. Upper management's their plan was to lay off Nick and replace him with me, right? I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. So you want me to replace my boss, my mentor, right, without even telling him? and without even telling me. So right away, I knew that if they can do that to Nick, they can do that to me as well. So I went home and I discussed this with my dad, and basically I took a week and just prayed about it. I came back to the CEO and said, no, I don't want the position. What I want you to do is to go ahead and hire 2 more engineers, 2 more scientists / engineers, plus an outside salesperson to help me continue Nick's plan of expanding the company. My ulterior motive was to hire them so I can free myself up to buy more commercial real estate. And that's what I did until my commercial real estate income equaled my job income, and then I left, right? So why am I sharing this with you? Well, I'm sharing this with you for 3 reasons. Number 1 is, if you were laid off, just like Nick, do you have a backup plan? Do you have any other assets that are going to help you pay your monthly bills? If not, commercial real estate can be that vehicle for you, as it was for me. Reason number 2 was, some of you are getting out there in age, right? And you have 0 to a very small retirement, right? That's where I was as an engineer many years ago. I used commercial real estate to help me build a nest egg retirement. Number 3, this may apply to a lot of you. You may have job security, but you have no freedom. What I mean by this is, some of you have high salaries, you work a lot of hours, it's very demanding, lots of travel, lots of responsibilities. You have job security, but you have no freedom. So what's more important to you, job security or freedom? So basically, your job has you, you don't have it, right? I know some of you can relate to that. So these 3 things here, that was my life story. And I'm wondering, for those of you out there, if this is your life story too. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, I'm sharing it with you to tell you that these 3 things are my why, right? So these 3 things are what drive me, or what drove me to invest in commercial real estate. So my question to you is, what's your why? Because we all know that if your why is powerful, the how-to is not difficult. So the how-to for me was commercial real estate. Got it? All right. So the next thing I want you to do is, let me show you what we do and how we're different that will help you with some of these things here, some of these 3 things here, to get you into the business of commercial real estate. See you there. Let's jump into what we do and why we're different from everyone else out there. Okay? On one side here, I will share with you how the traditional commercial real estate investor gets started and what they do, and then our way, the commercial property advisor's way. Let's start here. A traditional investor, the everyday person out there, will, to get started, they'll use the MLS, the multiple listing service. If they have access to it, they'll hire an agent, or they'll go online to a website, for example, like loopnet.com, and begin searching for deals that way. This is very crowded and is very competitive here. We don't play in this space, right? You're not going to find the best deals here. You're not. Our way is to put our focus on off-market opportunities. These are deals that you will not find online or through agents, right? They are off-market. Second way is, we do incorporate agents, but we try to get pocket listings. These are listings in their pocket. They're not on the MLS or LoopNet yet. The agents give them to us before anyone else, right? And we will teach you how to do that. Lastly, relationships. Commercial real estate is a relationship-based business. It always will be. Relationships in this business lead to off-market deals, raising capital, getting the partners you need, getting loans approved. Everything is through having the right relationships, right? So that's our focus here, right? This is a traditional way. Next is, the traditional investor will just go get a traditional bank loan. They'll put down, 20, 25, 35, 50% down payment in order to make the deal cash flow, the close deal. That's it. Nothing creative there, right? That's what they do. We do the same. So on some of our cases, we will do a bank loan, But over a third of our deals, we use some form of seller financing, like a seller carries second mortgage. Sometimes we have the seller be the bank for us, and sometimes we'll even do a master lease agreement, one of my favorite ways to purchase commercial property. All right, so the bank way and our way. Thirdly, the traditional person needs a system for finding deals. They basically have none, right? What's their system for finding deals? Maybe use agents or get online. That's not very systematized at all. Would you agree? So our systems are proprietary methods. All right. So what we do is we have a method where the property owners come direct to us. Right. That's our proprietary method. We've been doing it for years, and it gets better and better as we go along. Next is the traditional person does their evaluation. I call it at a low level, right, by themselves, or they have an agent do it. Here's the problem with that, right? So if you're starting in commercial real estate and you're evaluating a deal, let me just say this. Whatever job you're at, post office worker, engineer, whatever it is, nurse, you're really good at that, right? You can dig deep and unpeel all the layers and become successful, and you are successful there, right? Can you do the same with commercial real estate? Probably not, right? So most people will do it themselves. That's a mistake. Remember, a lot of these deals that our first-time students are doing, these deals are the largest investments they have made thus far in their life. So make sure you're not doing a low-level evaluation, right? And secondly, they'll perhaps maybe use an agent. I have a ton of really good commercial real estate agent friends, awesome people, but they are really good salespersons and not really good deal evaluators. Okay, they're just not. Their specialty, they're really good at sales, not at operational budgeting with projections and all that. That's not their thing. Right? On the other hand, we will teach you expert level evaluation, the type of evaluation that lenders will accept, that appraisers use, and that other professional big-time commercial real estate investors do. We have all the spreadsheets, and we teach you how to do that exactly. And on top of that, we will mentor you through the evaluations. All right? Now, one last word on this is evaluation is really important, right? As you get older, like we all are, like myself, we can't afford to make mistakes in our evaluation. We just can't. Some of us are at an age where we can't make mistakes. We can't wait for another 2 cycles to catch up, right? So low-level evaluation is very risky. All right, next is the traditional commercial real estate investor. When they think of exit strategies, they think of, what's that? What's an exit strategy, right? I'm just going to buy the property and just cash flow, right? That's not a very smart thing to do, right? So the other thing they do is they'll speculate. Oh, I'll just buy it, I'll cash flow, and the property will just be worth more, right? That's called speculation. It can get you in trouble very, very quickly. In my experience as a coach, a mentor, an advisor, as a consultant, everywhere around this entire country, is when someone has a problem, they come to me, it's because this was faulty from the get-go. All right, they didn't have an exit strategy that was believable or razor sharp like ours. So our way is we will help you develop a razor sharp exit strategy based upon what? Based upon experience, based upon the research, right? And in fact, you're going to have an exit strategy before you go into the deal, during the deal, because the economy may change, right? And then after the deal, right? After you sell it. Now, why after? Is because if you don't have an exit strategy after you sell the property, you may pay $1 gazillion in taxes, okay? So exit strategy is really important in this business. Now, the last thing that a traditional commercial real estate investor may do is to try to do it by themselves. They go solo, and in my opinion, that's risky, right? I learned in my Rich Dad days that commercial real estate investing is a team sport, right? When you ask a traditional person who's on your team, you get a question mark, right? Do they have the right attorney? Do they have the right closer? Do they have the right property manager? Do you have the right insurance agent? Do you have the right inspector? All these things are really, really important on your team. Don't you dare try to do all this, this commercial, by yourself. All right? It's too risky. Our way is we mentor you, right? We've done all this before, many, many years, for decades. We've done this before. And on top of that, to reduce your risk, we profit share with you, meaning that we make no money unless you make money. So you have to make money in order for us to split something with you, right? So the risk is shared between the two, between our company and yourself, right? And also too, smarter teammates. Don't you think that, well, let me just say this, any successful business person has on their team people smarter than themselves. So that's the goal here, is for you to have smarter teammates. Okay? All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to just jump into and share with you what the Protege program is all about. I'll see you there. Let's jump right into what the Protege program is. All right, spell that right here for you in 3 easy steps. Step number 1, you're going to generate leads. Step 2, you're going to get good deals on the contract. And step 3, you're going to find buyers and close the deal. 1, 2, and 3. All right? So what I just described to you is a commercial wholesaling program. All right? You're going to make money in this program where there's no down payment required. There's no banks involved because we're wholesaling. Number 3, you're going to build up your savings because you're going to do wholesale deal. After a wholesale deal, you're going to raise your capital base or increase your savings until you can do this business yourself, meaning that you're going to be able to have your own down payment or earn yourself into the Protege program. So I'm assuming that you're in the pre-Protege because you need to build up your capital base or your down payment money or your savings to afford the Protege program. This pre-Protege program will help you do that. All right, so in a nutshell, here's what you're doing. You're going to generate leads, step 1. In commercial real estate, it's all about the leads, right? If you have no deals to look at, how can you be in this business? How can you find deals and close deals and make money without the leads? So we spend a lot of time and money in our company developing great lead generation systems, and you can take advantage of that. Step 2 is to get good deals on the contract. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal? You have to learn that in our videos here, in our training here, how to identify good deals. You may identify or find a deal that's not good on the surface. We're going to teach you to unpeel the surface to look for upside a deal that will create a deal, that will create a bad deal into a great deal. Okay? And then you're going to get it under contract. Well, first of all, how do you come up with the purchase price, right? How do you come up with an offer? And secondly, do I use a purchase contract or a letter of intent? We're going to teach you all that. And thirdly, step 3 is to find the buyers and close the deal. So step 3 basically is you're going to find a buyer. Let me back up. You're going to have the property under contract. You're going to find a buyer who's qualified to buy the property. Then you're going to meet with the buyer. You say, Mr. Buyer, I have this deal. I'll give you this deal for X dollars. Okay? And if they agree to X dollars, you assign the contract to them. You write out a fee agreement that they pay you at closing. Then you close the deal. All right? So you're going to generate leads. You're going to get the deals, to get the good deals under contract. You're going to find the buyers, assign the contract to them, close the deal, and get paid. Right? Again, in commercial wholesaling, no down payment required, no banks needed. You can use this method to build up your savings, to build up your capital base so you can start having your own down payment, and you can also use commercial wholesaling to earn yourself into the Protege program. Got it? Okay, I hope that's clear. What I want to do next is go over with you a real deal from one of our students named John. He's in the Southwest, all right? So John made $40,000 on his very first commercial wholesaling deal. He didn't do it right off the bat. He went through many dead-end deals to find this one, right? This business is not easy. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. So it takes a system to make sure that you can do something systematically and consistently and be persistent about it to get the results. Okay? That's what we're here for as a mentoring company. All right, so let me share with you how John was able to earn $40,000 on his first commercial wholesale deal. I'll go through the steps, the 3 steps. Step number 1, John decided to, in step 1, generate leads, John decided to focus on out-of-state owners because he knew in his state, in his city, in his county, there were a lot of owners from California who bought property there looking for good deals, right? So his focus was on 5 to 100 units. So John did a lot of marketing and for lead generation for this particular category, and after about 3 weeks he came up with a 75 unit apartment building from a couple who owned a property where he lived. The couple lived in California, right? The property was distressed, but so were their owners because their current property manager ran the property into the ground, resulting in the property being self-managed. So the couple in California flew out to where John was and started managing the property themselves. That's not a good idea if that's not your expertise, but they didn't know what else to do. So they decided to manage the property for themselves, and they did not do a good job, right? All right, so step 1, John created this lead, a great lead with great potential, so we thought. Step 2 was to get good deals on the contract. So the first question is, what's a good deal? So is this a good deal? 75 unit apartment building, distress, self-management, the numbers were horrible. So why was it a good deal? Yes, it was a good deal. Here's why. Here's something you're going to learn while in our company is we discovered through our due diligence process that the rents were under market by $25 a unit, at least. They're probably about $50 to $60, but we were conservative, and so we could easily, without doing anything to the apartments, instantly increase each unit $25. Easy, right? Why was this so apparent, right? It's because the owners are so wrapped up into the day-to-day operations and the problems in the property that they did not do any type of market research and see what type of rents were available. That's why, right? So secondly, we also discovered in our due diligence that utilities, we could bill back the tenants for utilities, for water, sewer, and trash, averaging about $35 a unit. How do we know that? What? How do we know? We knew that because of market research. All of the other neighboring properties were doing exactly that. They were charging about $35 a unit for water, sewer, and trash, right? This owner did not, because again, he was out of touch. He's so wrapped up in the property's problems. He didn't know that the opportunities were there. So let's do some math, okay? So we have a $25 rent increase potential. We have a $35 utility reimbursement potential. That's $60 per unit, right? And that's per month, okay? $60 per unit per month, and we have 75 units. That equals $4,500 a month in additional income that was sitting there for the next owner if he knew what he was doing, right? So $45 a month, I'm going to multiply it by 12 months, I get $54,000 per year potential, right? All we have to do is raise it $25, but we believe the rents can go up to 50 to 60 if you put make the property a little more beautiful, but $25 instant, no problem. There's a $35 utility reimbursement that everyone else is doing, so John's property could do it as well. All right, so that gave us a $54,000 potential increase per year. Now, as all of you know out there, in commercial, this only applies to commercial. It does not apply to single-family homes or fourplexes. Only 5 units and greater in commercial. That as the NOI goes up, the property value goes up as well. All right? Remember the equation, I'm sure you guys know this, that the cap rate is equal to the NOI divided by the sales price. You guys know that. I know you do, right? Now, I can take that equation, right, and I can flip it over and say sales price is equal to the NOI divided by the cap rate. You may have to slow this video down or rewind it to catch that. But if you do that math, right? So if we take the $54,000 a year potential and I divide it by the market cap rate, so $54,000 divided by the 8% cap rate, it comes out to $675,000, right? So what does $675 means? This means that once we can produce this much more per year, the property is worth this much more, right? So I believe that John can get the property under contract for about $1.7 million, right? Now, after John increases the income by $54,000, it is equal to $1.7 million plus $675. So almost $2.4 million, right? So a $675,000 increase in property value just by doing these two things. Now, is that potentially a good deal? Yes, it is. Yes, does it take skill to find and locate those type of deals? Yes, it does. Are those deals out there? Yes. Are they out in the open? No. You have to know how to do step one and step two. All right? Okay, so that's exactly what John did. The next step that John did was through generating his leads, John also, while on the phone contacting these leads here, he found a person that was not interested in selling his property, but he's looking to add to his portfolio. So John put him down as a buyer, right? So it goes both ways. When you're looking to generate leads, you can find sellers and buyers. And that's exactly what John did. So John found a local apartment buyer. John and he agreed that the upside, this upside here, potential was there. They both agreed it was there. And John says, so the owner, the buyer wants to buy the property. So what John did was he assigned the purchase contract to the local buyer. They signed a fee agreement stating that at closing, the buyer will pay John $40,000 at closing, right? 35 days later, the deal closed, and John was paid $40,000 at closing. All right? So this is a real deal, and you can see John followed the steps exactly. Step 1, step 2, and step 3. What John did really, really well, in my opinion, was number 1, he hit this really hard. And number 2, during this whole process here, step 1 and step 2, John was a really good middle person. So he had a relationship with the seller of the property that was in California, really great relationship, and with the buyer. So John was a really good middleman, just making sure everything headed towards closing. And here were the results, $40,000 at closing. All right? Okay, step 1, step 2, and step 3. Can you do it? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And with our help, especially you can. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do here is break down for you, item by item, what you'll get with the commercial wholesaling program and the system. I'll see you there. Here's what's inside the commercial wholesaling system and how to get access to it. Let's get started. All right, so number 1, you're going to get a home study manual. It's over 100 pages in length, and it's going to detail out step 1, generate leads, step 2, how to get good deals under contract, and step 3, finding buyers and taking you towards closing. A very thick manual, very robust. Step 1 is going to discuss how to market, how we set up marketing. It's all about systems. So our marketing system, which includes how to build a list of potential property sellers, how to find pocket listings, and it is a system that you need to follow step by step by step to generate the leads. If you recall a few minutes earlier, I mentioned about how this business is all about generating leads, right? Without the leads, you have no business, no opportunities. Step 1 is very important. We'll break it down for you in this manual. Step 2 is I share with you and teach you how to get good deals under contract. Number 1, again, what is a good deal? So in the manual, we're going to go over how to do high-level deal evaluation, which includes how to come up with an offer price, how to negotiate the deal, and when it's time to make an offer, how do we make the offer? what four contingencies do you need in the contract? What other things that you must have in the contract to protect yourself so you do not lose your earnest money deposit. All right? Step 3 is finding buyers and closing. Sounds easier than it is. All right? Buyers can ruin your reputation. They can waste your time. So I talk a lot about how to qualify your buyers to make sure they follow through, or they're at least at the minimum capable of buying your deal. Paperwork. The paperwork to tie up a deal and take it towards closing is enormous, right? So we provide all the paperwork that you need. And lastly, how to get paid, right? So part of getting paid has a lot to do with what comes next. Our ePartner software that you're going to get access to. This is our automated software. We call this our deal management software, where you can input and perform financial analysis on a deal, where I think this is pretty cool. You can show me, the coach, and also yourself, do a calculation on the actual numbers of the deal and then the pro forma numbers of the deal and what it should really look like. I'm going to take you through those 3 different perspectives, right? And you know that every deal has different perspectives, right? You have the broker's perspective, you have the seller's perspective, and then our perspective. Which one do you believe? Of course, our perspective, because the broker and the seller, their numbers are absolutely wrong 100% of the time, guaranteed. All right, next in the ePartner, there's a section, there's a module called Property Details, where you can enter everything about the deal, right? The address, the contact information of the seller, all your deal contacts, property information, year built, square footage, number of units, financial things, deal highlights, you name it, you're going to put it inside the property details. All right. Next is a due diligence module, right? Due diligence module is going to allow you to, when you get a property under contract, to keep track of the due diligence, of your 30-day due diligence event, I call it, where you're going to discover and unpeel the physical integrity of the deal, the financial integrity of the deal, and then the legal integrity of the deal. Really, really important. Remember, when you purchase a residential property, you get property disclosures detailing many things from the seller has to honestly and truthfully tell you. We have no such thing in commercial. You'll get 0 property disclosures from a commercial property owner. It is not required by law. So they can literally lie to you. There's nothing, you have no recourse, nothing you can do about it after you close on the deal. So due diligence is really important. We help you keep track of that, along with the contingencies in the due diligence, so that once you tie up a deal and you have earnest money at the title company, we keep track of the contingencies so your earnest money never becomes non-refundable. All right, so the dates are there, so you can keep track of the dates and the timeline schedules of when the financing contingency, inspection contingency, title contingency, all those contingencies, when they expire, to make sure your deal stays fresh and your earnest money stays refundable. Okay. Last but not least, documents. There's a documents module that's going to allow you to load up all the documents of your deal. Property details, your market research, the financials that you're going to get from the seller, any other property information that you're going to gather, you can load up into the document section, so that when information is there and you and I are on the phone, or you message me and say, Peter, here's the information, I can click on that document section as well and see everything you put up there, look at it, and give you my feedback. All right? Oh, the one thing I forgot is, in the property details, I didn't share with you, we have a thing called Brochure Creator. It's a really cool function. Again, this is a wholesaling program, so you need to be in a position to show your buyer the merits of the deal. What's good about it? Why is it wholesalable? Why should they buy it, right? So this Brochure Creator creates a beautiful, well detailed out 3-page color brochure of the property and why it's good, with all the pictures and everything. It's an awesome tool. All right. That's ePartner. This allows me to coach real time with you. That's what I love about the software. It is powerful. Number 3, you're going to get access to our Knowledge Center, right? Number 1, there's a video library there of all the training. These videos are of 100% of me training you on these 3 steps and the inner workings of each 3 steps, okay? Next is you're going to get a module in the Knowledge Center called Contracts and Forms, where all the purchase contracts, letter of intents, management agreements, all the agreements you need to get a property under contract and get it assigned to a buyer and to get paid at closing. All of the forms and agreements are in there, okay? Next is a vendor network. This is years and years and years of working with different vendors around the country, having relationships with them, getting their information and putting it in this vendor network so that you can have access to this. So you don't have to go out and recreate the wheel, reinvent the wheel. All of it's right here. One thing also in here that I'll mention to you that's really cool is we have a proof of funds letter that's signed by me, basically. And basically what it is when you're going out and you're trying to get a deal on the contract and you don't physically have the money, but you just want to show proof so you can get past go and get the property under contract, right? So we will provide you a real proof of funds letter from our bank showing that the funds are there. You can't use them, but it is proof that the funds are there to buy the property, okay? All right, next is we have a Success Blueprint. Success Blueprint this is really cool. This lays out where to start from day 1 all the way to day 90. What to do, what to read, who to call, what videos to watch. Everything from step 1. Now, the great part about this is there's only one Success Blueprint that's in our pre-Protege and Protege program. So this Success Blueprint is from their Protege program. So you can see everything that our Protege students go through, right? You won't have access to everything they have, but you're going to get to see everything that all the training that they go through. Got it? Okay. And last but not least, you're going to get bi-monthly phone call with a coach. That's me. Twice. This is great because you and I will be on the phone going over your deals. I'll be asking questions. You're going to upload the deals into ePartner. We will take a look at them, go through all the income, all the expenses, why you think it's a good deal, and then I'll tell you what you should offer or how you should structure, maybe something creative, something like that, and then there's subsequent follow-up, okay, on the deals. So these are very valuable. I actually really enjoy this because I can see on these calls all the studies and actions that you've undertaken, and I can see the fruits of it here. All right. So, in your opinion, what is all of this worth? It's worth a lot, but I'm not going to mess around here. I'm going to tell you what exactly the price is. The price is $997, right? For access to the home study manual, to ePartner software, the Knowledge Center, and calls and emails with me, right? $997. All right. So there you are. What exactly are you waiting for? A good deal is an opportunity that I can acquire, right? Participate in that will help me reach my goals. That's what this is here. All right. Okay. The last thing I want to share with you is I want to rewind and go back and discuss why I do this. So why do I purchase commercial property myself? And why did I get started? It goes back to my whys, my 3 whys. And the 3 questions I asked you 20 minutes ago, which was, what would happen if you were to get laid off from your job? Do you have a backup? Do you have any other assets that's going to help you pay your monthly bills? Number 2, you're getting older, and perhaps you didn't save enough for your retirement. Perhaps you have no retirement, perhaps it's very small. Commercial real estate is a great vehicle to address that why. And lastly, you may have a job that gives you great security, high paying, but you're working lots of hours, there's lots of travel, there's craziness in the job, it's in the corporate world, but you have no freedom, right? That's where I was too. So again, commercial real estate allowed me over time to escape the corporate world, to escape from me having to deal with Nick, my mentor had to deal with by getting laid off without him even knowing it. Again, if they can do that to him, they can do that to me. And commercial real estate gave me a way out and a way into freedom. All right, so that's what I share with you today. So go ahead, a link will appear on the screen. Go ahead and click on it to get started. I'll see you on the inside.